What's up? It's Marvin of the Miles Ahead podcast. And for today, I'm going to be giving my perspective of last week's Super Bowl. I thought it was an awesome Super Bowl. And I'm also going to be talking about the performance of Patrick Mahomes and also Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to be talking about, the Eagles franchise and where they could go from here, and also the Chiefs franchise and where they could go from here as well. So let's dive into the episode. But first, I'm going to tell you guys to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the channel, show your support. I have about 50 plus episodes on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple, and about 20 plus episodes on YouTube. So be on the lookout for more content to come out and, better ideas to come out for the podcast and the brand. So let's dive into the episode. And one of the things I want to brag about first, which was, if you know, I went 9 for 13 in the playoffs for my predictions. So I always have a pretty good record in the playoffs. And this time, I did above average, so which is good. And I did the same thing last year and the year before that. So, I'm just going to keep it coming with my predictions for the playoffs and stuff like that. So, but I was right about picking the Chiefs to get this victory, and they ended up doing it in 3 points and stuff like that. So it was a very good game. Okay, and obviously there was a controversial call at the end. I will be diving into that as well and my perspective on that. But let's just get into the episode. So for the first, half, the Eagles, they were dominating the time of possession. I mean, I think the the Eagles, they may have had about 21 minutes of having the ball, and the Chiefs, they had about 8 minutes, I believe, and it was just tough. I mean, the Eagles, they made it very tough. They went up 24-14, and I want to say, Jalen Hurts, I mean, he was really doing his thing in the first half. He really was. He ended up fumbling the football at one point, and that did hurt them. Okay, it did hurt him, and obviously, it was a lot of factors that came to them losing. It wasn't even just that fumble, but that was a mistake on his part. Okay, but right after that, he still ended up scoring, and he went right down and he scored again. And in his mind, it was like the fumble never happened. And again, like they were still up 24-14. And they did not want Patrick Mahomes to have the ball that much, and they didn't in the first half. And that was really good for them. And they ended up leading in the first half. The Chiefs defensive back by name of Nick Bolton, he was able to scoop up one of those fumbles and run it in for a touchdown. And not to mention, I want to say they also had a pass play to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, I mean, he was okay in this game. He did have 81 yards for 7 interceptions and also a touchdown. But I feel like the main key that really helped the Chiefs get this victory, which was honestly the run game and also the offensive line as well. They really did play up to their, standards. Okay. I mean, they were hearing all of this talk about how the Eagles, they're the best defense since the Bears and stuff like that. And that ended up being proven not to be the case because they had 0 sacks throughout the whole game. Okay. And that's a credit to the offensive line. And also it's a credit to, Andy Reid balancing out the game plan, not always, you know, going for the pass, which was probably expected. Okay. And, they ended up using Isaiah Pacheco very well. I mean, he ran for 76 yards and 1 touchdown. And, Also, Patrick Mahomes, he ran for 44 yards as well in the game. Okay. And for the most part, in this game, the Chiefs secondary in the first half, they did not really show up like that, to be honest with you. Okay. I thought that they would be able to, contain Jalen Hurts from being able to throw the football. And not to mention, I also believe that prior to me picking the Chiefs, that Jalen Hurts' shoulder injury will definitely come into factor of his ability to throw the football far. And that ended up not being the case in this game. And, he ended up throwing for over 300 plus yards. And, he threw for a touchdown as well. Not to mention, he also ran it in for 3 touchdowns as well. And again, like, he was on fire throughout the whole game. I mean, he was throwing darts everywhere. He was awesome. And I just want to say is that, he really did prove that he can do it in this league. And he had a great performance. And another thing is, when it comes to the Chiefs on the defensive side of the football, they were able to stop the run when it came to their running backs. Okay. They stopped the Eagles' running game when they're running backs. Okay. But they weren't able to stop Jalen Hurts. Okay. He was just that dynamic. Okay. He was able to get every little amount of yardage that he could. And he was also able to run, for an extended amount of yards down the field as well. So I felt like that really did help with this game. And not to mention, I mean, like I said, like, he was just on fire with throwing the football. I mean, he had a throw to Goddard, the tight end, and that was just centimeters above, from being intercepted. And, it was pretty close to being intercepted, but, it was a great throw. And, he was able to prove that, he should be definitely the starting quarterback for years to come. Okay. He really did do his thing. Not to mention, the receivers as well. I did not expect for Devontae Smith and AJ Brown to have the kind of game that they did, but they ended up doing that. And yes, they were doing it on rookie cornerbacks, but still, they still balled out. They still ended up, making plays and making things happen. And, you can't get mad at the competition that they face. They just ended up proving that, that they are one of the best at their position. Okay. So they were a great tandem together, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, you know, and you just gotta give the Eagles credit. Okay. Now, one of the things that I also believe that would help the Chiefs when it came to them getting this victory was, yes, they ran the football very well, right? But I also believe that the Eagles' defense was actually overrated, in my opinion. Remember when I said for my prediction, I said that the Eagles' defense, when it came to their level of competition that they went up against in the regular season, it wasn't really that good. Okay, from the quarterback position. Okay, their best competition at the quarterback position was against Aaron Rodgers. Okay, it was also Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. Okay, now yes, Trevor Lawrence, he definitely did, have to go through some issues because I believe that day it was raining very heavy and he ended up fumbling the football a lot. But imagine if it wasn't raining. Okay. And all three of those quarterbacks, they all scored 30 plus points on the Eagles defense. Okay. So in the second half, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he went 13 for 14 in the second half. Okay. And the only thing that he missed was actually the throwaway to Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, and also Patrick Mahomes, he was just on fire throughout the whole game. I mean, he was 21 for 27. He threw for 182 yards, but he also rushed for 44. And the reason why I'm gonna say that Patrick Mahomes slightly outplayed Jalen Hurts, okay, it's because of what he did in the second half. Okay, he went 93% in terms of throwing the football in the second half. Okay, now Jalen Hurts, he had a great first half. He did. Okay, but he also went 11 for 16 in the second half when it came to throwing the football. Okay, and Jalen Hurts, he did his thing. I can't lie, he definitely did. But at the end of the day, he still has to be able to finish the game. Okay, he still has to be able to finish the game, and he has to be able to play well in the second half. And he did play well overall, but he just didn't outplay Patrick Mahomes in the second half. Okay, first half he did, second half he did, and Patrick Mahomes, he had a 99.6 for QBR rating. His passer rating was 137. That's how elite that he was in the second half. Okay, and I want to say, and the Chiefs, they were able to take advantage of the Eagles' corners. They were able to get easy touchdowns where both Kadarius Toney and also Sky Moore were wide open. Now that's more so on Andy Reid than it is Patrick Mahomes. Okay. And yes, Andy Reid, he definitely did scheme up a play very well for them to be able to get the touchdown. And you got to give it to him. He definitely did come through on this situation. And when it comes to Patrick Mahomes and when he was able to run down the field for the 26-yarder, okay? I mean, this is what people do in a time of greatness, okay? They push through. They push through their injuries. They push through their problems. I mean, I felt like that run was all based on adrenaline, okay? And, he ended up getting it done, and he got the victory. And another thing I want to talk about is the punt return, which was also very key in this game, okay? Kadarius Toney, he had a 65-yard punt return, okay? When I was watching it at the sports bar that I was at in my city, like, it was amazing. It was unexpected to see. And, he just ran right. And then he just started running all the way down the sideline. And that definitely was a huge momentum shifter in the Chiefs when it came to, the feeling in them believing that they could win. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he already did have that belief in the beginning. But this definitely did make them feel like every play counts. Okay, and this was like a spark plug of energy for the team. So to me, I felt like this was huge, and Kadarius Toney, he definitely did show up in this game. As for the run, on the other hand, like I said, it was very huge during that time. And Patrick Mahomes, he pushed through adversity. So did Jalen Hurts. They both pushed through adversity, and they were both able to play well during their time. Okay, and now I'm going to get into the controversial call that happened, which was heard all around the world, right, of football. The football players and everybody, they were all saying, like, that's not the call to make and stuff like that. Want to tell you the truth? I disagree. I disagree with that. And to me, I don't think that it was rigged. Okay. It's not rigged for the Chiefs to win. Okay, that's where I disagree with everything. Okay, because to be honest with you, if the NFL really wanted to rig something for a franchise, the Cowboys would have been one. Okay, the Cowboys would be a dynasty. Okay, or the 49ers, they would have been one. The Chiefs, they are not a major fan base. Okay, yes, they're becoming major because of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. When we know their faces now, they have been in the Super Bowl for 3 out of the past 5 years, but they're not the most popular team in the league. Okay, I'll probably say the 49ers are more popular. The Eagles are slightly more popular. And then you also got the Cowboys. I mean, a Steelers still. Okay. Steelers are definitely still more popular. But those are like, you know, the franchises that everybody is just in love with. Okay. Now, as for the call itself, it was a hold. It was a hold. All right. And the thing is that James Bradbury, he came out and then he said, I held his jersey. That's exactly what happened. All right. He took accountability for what happened during that moment. And it's the truth. He did hold him. He actually held him twice. Okay. Now, yes, Patrick Mahomes, he did throw the football away. He did. But at the end of the day, that still has nothing to do with it being a hold or not. It doesn't. Okay. Because it definitely wasn't caught as a pass interference. All right. Now, everybody, they all want to say like the game was based on this one play. When to tell you the truth, it was based on about 4 different plays. All right. It was about 4 different things that cost the Eagles. Okay. It was the fumble by Jalen Hurts. All right. It was also the punting. Okay. They had to punt about 3 times in this game. The Eagles did. Okay. And then the punt return by Kadarius Toney. All right. You got Patrick Mahomes playing well. Okay. And then you also had the defense of the Eagles not being able to live up to the hype. Okay. It has nothing to do with that one play. Okay. 0 sacks, 0 interceptions happened. There were 0 turnovers on the Chiefs. They played a perfect game. Okay. So you can't blame everything on one play. All right. Now, would I have liked to have seen what would happen during this time? Yes, it probably would have been pretty cool to see what would happen, but it didn't happen. Okay. And it's not a rigged game. It wasn't a rigged game. If anything, Nick Sirianni, he definitely should have just coached a better disciplined team on a defensive end. Okay. Why was Kadarius Toney wide open? Why was Sky Moore wide open? Neither one of those things should have happened. Okay. They fell for some motion, for a scheme. Okay. Now, to me, I feel like that has more to do with the Eagles' defense than it had to on the offensive side of the football. Okay. Because Jalen Hurts, he definitely was carrying the defense. He was. He was carrying the defense and also the offense because the running backs, they definitely could not get enough yardage to help get this victory for the Eagles. Okay. Now, when it came to, like I said, the holding penalty, it was a hold. All right. Wasn't pass interference. Because if it was pass interference, then basically then that would mean that Juju Smith-Schuster had a chance of catching the football. Okay, we all know that he didn't. All right. And not to mention, Patrick Mahomes, listen, he did come back and he was able to, to take the lead during this time, right? But let's say that it didn't happen. Let's say that James Bradbury didn't hold it. Do we really think that? Do we really believe that somebody who has never actually been in this spot in terms of being able to come back in the Super Bowl and either tie or get a touchdown with no timeouts? Like, do you guys really believe that that was going to happen? They couldn't run the football. Okay. Yes, amazing things were happening all game long. It was. But in my opinion, I also just think that the Chiefs defense, they played a little bit better than the Eagles defense did. They did. They showed up, but at the same time, there were also some lapses when it came to the rookies as well. Okay. But the Chiefs defense on the running game, they showed up. Okay. And in the second half, they were able to hold the Eagles defense to 11 points. All right. The Eagles defense, on the other hand, they held the Chiefs to 17 points in the fourth quarter. Come on now. You see what I'm saying? So the Chiefs defense, they did step up in the second half. All right. Now, when it comes to, you know, if the Eagles would have been able to score on the ending drive, I had never seen Jalen Hurts do anything like that in this season, except for maybe one game when he was down against the Colts. That's the only game when I saw him have to come back and get the victory. Okay? This is the Super Bowl. Okay? Now, Jalen Hurts, he was definitely playing on a lot of poise. He was playing great the whole game and stuff like that. Like, he was awesome. Can't take that away from him. But at the same time, the defense of the Chiefs was stepping up as well. So it's no telling what would have happened. But in my opinion, I don't believe they would have scored. Okay. So again, credit to the Eagles. It was a great game, awesome game. I expected for this to happen in terms of, it being exciting, it going to a back and forth. But at the same time, I was right in terms of who I believe would win the Super Bowl. And, they both did their thing. As for, what's going to happen with the Chiefs and stuff like that, look, it's awesome. And in my opinion, I have Patrick Mahomes definitely top 3 all time. Okay. I still got Joe Montana ahead of him. And obviously, I got Tom Brady ahead of him as well. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, through his first 5 seasons, he's been exemplary. Okay. He's 11-3 in the postseason. All right. And he's also thrown for 37 touchdowns during that span. Okay. And when you compare that to Brady's first 5 years, I mean, he did not really throw that many touchdowns. And, the defense definitely did have a lot to do with, his success and stuff like that, But, Tom Brady, he's a great player. And do I believe that Patrick Mahomes has a chance of catching Tom Brady in terms of being the greatest of all time? Yes, I do. But, I don't believe that he definitely needs to have 7 rings or more. No, he doesn't. I think I already did say this last time. I believe that he only needs 4 to 5. Okay. Now, when it comes to, Patrick Mahomes, like I said, he's just dynamic as a football player, and he's unstoppable. Okay, he could literally come back from deficits, from deficits. Okay, the Chiefs, they were supposed to be losing in the Super Bowl. That's what everybody said. They were supposed to lose this game, and they didn't. It came on top, and they were able to get this victory. Okay, and the thing that's definitely going to help the Chiefs even more is definitely going to be free agency. Okay, and the fact that it's a lot of players second year playing with the Chiefs. I feel like that's definitely going to help them as well because they know what it's like to get to the Super Bowl and win, and with that level of experience, that's definitely going to help them as well. Okay, and when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, he signed a team-friendly deal. Okay, which demonstrates that he's definitely in it to try to win championships. Okay, his defense wasn't a top 5 defense. It wasn't a top 10 defense. Okay, in both Super Bowls that he won. All right, so you just gotta give him the credit that he deserves, man. You got to. And when it comes to the offensive line, there were some FBI security agents for him. I mean, he was not touched all game long. Okay. And the crazy thing is that they were comparing the Eagles defense to the 85 Bears. Impossible. Okay. So that's my perspective on the Chiefs. All right. There's definitely gonna be some more winning happening for the Chiefs for sure. And sooner or later, I mean, there's gonna be something that you just can't deny. All right, that he's definitely the best that we've ever seen. All right. I mean, to me, he's already a better playoff performer than Aaron Rodgers. It's not close there. Peyton Manning is not close. It's not close there, especially when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl and playing well in the Super Bowl. John Elway, he plays better than John Elway in the Super Bowl. Okay. Now everybody, they always want to bring up what happened against the Bucks, the Buccaneers, right? It had no offensive line at all. Period, point blank. Right? And Patrick Mahomes, he was still playing great. Right? He was still doing the football to players' face masks. McCole Hardman dropped a pass. Tyreek Hill dropped 2 passes. Travis Kelce dropped a few passes as well. Okay? So that's what happened in that game. All right. In the first game against the 49ers, yes, he threw 2 interceptions. Okay. But he also came back in the fourth quarter and he was able to get that victory. All right. He launched a bomb to Tyreek Hill in a 3rd and 15. 3rd and 15. So again, he came back from 2 10-point deficits in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's something that a lot of quarterbacks have not done. A lot of them. Okay. Now, I've heard that Patrick Mahomes, he's never played better than any of Tom Brady's Super Bowls. Well, I disagree with that because the one that Tom Brady played against the Rams, that was not a good Super Bowl. It wasn't. All right, he played terrible in that one. All right. So as of so far, okay, you could come up with maybe about a couple Super Bowls that Tom Brady did not play well in. Okay, but again, Tom Brady, he's the standard. And I'm pretty sure that, Patrick Mahomes is going to be in it for the long haul. And the fact that he has this team friendly deal is definitely going to help him when it comes to getting more wins in the Super Bowl or getting to more Super Bowls in the first place. Okay. Because, players, they're going to be trying to get their money. All right. So, speaking of players, I'm going to talk about, you know, Jalen Hurts. All right. He was the first quarterback to rush for 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Okay. And, he threw for 300 plus yards. He was on fire. Okay. And to me, I already do have Jalen Hurts as the third best quarterback in the league. Okay. I mean, just in terms of leadership capabilities and how calm he is when it comes to, you know, despite him making a mistake in the fumble and stuff like that. And then on top of that, he also played better than Joe Burrow did last year as well. Now, I still have Joe Burrow number two. I still have him number two, but I have Jalen Hurts number three. I do. And do I think that Jalen Hurts has a shot at winning the Super Bowl? It depends on what he takes in this next contract deal that he decides to go up for. Okay. I mean, if he takes, a whole lot of money, then next thing you know, I mean, last time I checked, AJ Brown is a free agent, I think. Devontae Smith is a free agent. All right. So to me, it all depends on what Jalen Brown decides to do. I mean, he doesn't have to, you know, break the bank. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's I mean, it's only so much money that you can spend in a lifetime. Okay. And I feel like that's what Patrick Mahomes knows. Yes, I got a $500 million deal, 10 years, right? But again, it's only so much money that he could spend. And then on top of that, if you add on the endorsements, the appearances, all that type of stuff, he'll be fine. All right. Right now, Patrick Mahomes, he's the sixth highest paid quarterback in the league. Okay. And by the end of the season, he might end up being the 10th. Okay. But what is the sacrifice that he's doing? The winning. That's what he's sacrificing. And also, obviously, he's going to be endorsed heavily. All right. He's going to be making a lot of appearances. So he's definitely going to be fine. All right. Like I said, it's only so much money that he can spend in a lifetime. All right. Now, as for Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, he has to make a decision. Does he want to break the bank? Make it hard for teams to be able to get some free agents and stuff like that? Or does he want to win? And to me, I feel like, judging from what I've heard from Jalen Hurts and, his press conferences and also, how he plays his game and how he leads his team, I feel like he wants to win. So, and he's made vast improvements as a thrower of the football. And to me, I just think that he's definitely going to end up winning the Super Bowl in his tenure as a football player for the Eagles, for sure. He's a better thrower of the football than he's a better thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. Okay, and not to mention he's also a better decision maker than Josh Allen. Okay, so that is definitely my perspective on these two players. And, I feel like the Eagles, they definitely got to, you know, get some better defenders to help them. Okay. And to me, like, judging from how, both of those players played and stuff like that and their leadership qualities, look, you know, it's a lot of people who just want to be a part of winning organizations. Okay. And when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, it's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, you know, I like this. I like what I see. I like where the team is headed. Okay. So then next thing you know, a free agent is definitely gonna want to go over there. Don't be shocked if it happens. Same thing for Jalen Hurts. All right. So to me, I feel like Jalen Hurts, he's probably going to take a team friendly deal. And the next thing you know, he can end up winning the Super Bowl. All right. Because he already does have all the hard work capabilities within him. He also has a lot of leadership qualities within him. He knows what to say, knows when to say it. And then on top of that, he's very poised. All right. So, and he played great in the Super Bowl, which helps him. It definitely helps him because if he played terrible, the next thing you know, people they would probably be like, you know what? We don't need Jalen Hurts. That's what definitely would probably happen if that was to have happened in the Super Bowl. If he had played terrible, they would probably be like, we don't need Jalen Hurts. But he played great. So that's my perspective on both of those types of situations when it comes to both players. And the next thing I'm going to move on to is, are the Chiefs a dynasty? In my opinion, no. I feel like they definitely need 3 Super Bowls in order for them to be a dynasty. But they definitely are, the top of the AFC. And they're definitely, the team that everybody's striving to try to beat. Okay. So if the Chiefs end up getting 3 or winning next season, they're definitely a dynasty for sure. And the last thing I want to give my perspective on, it's going to be about Andy Reid. And, now that he's a 2-time Super Bowl championship winner, I probably would definitely say that he's definitely a top 10 head coach to ever play. And for sure, definitely, one of the greatest offensive minds to ever, you know, bring up plays as a coach. And to me, I mean, I feel like, he's a very successful head coach. And in my opinion, I believe that a lot of the success that he's had over the recent years is more so because of him being able to obtain a quarterback of the caliber of Patrick Mahomes. Okay. He had a quarterback that could take him over the top, just like Bill Belichick. Okay. And just like Bill Walsh, they were all able to get that quarterback that helped them to be able to get to where they are. Same thing with Tim Duncan. The player makes the coach better. And to me, I just felt like Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he takes a lot more credit than what people want to give him. And I feel like he definitely does. I feel like he definitely does deserve that credit. Okay, because coaches they do make mistakes. So do players. But it's up to the players to be able to execute, and also for the players to be able to go off script. Okay. And if you're able to do that at a highly elite level, then next thing you know, you're a Hall of Famer. So yes, shout out to Andy Reid, and for him to be able to construct up a great game plan. In his previous Super Bowl runs, he would not really use the running game that much. He would be passing the football all the time and stuff like that. And now he did utilize the run game. He learned from his mistakes. He learned how important that is and stuff like that. And to me, can I see, Andy Reid get into 2 more Super Bowls or 3 more Super Bowls? I think it's very possible. Okay, especially when he has somebody like Patrick Mahomes behind him. And if there's anybody out there who wants to say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is only good because of him having Andy Reid," well, I mean, that's not what the success says for when it comes to winning with Andy Reid. Okay, prior to having Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, he had never won anything. Not under Alex Smith, not under Donovan McNabb, not under a lot of quarterbacks that Andy Reid has had. Now, yes, they were able to get to some playoff success and stuff like that, but it's always that one guy that can, go off script, and also not only go off script, but also execute the plays that's needed. Okay. And those guys end up winning championships. Okay. So yes, Andy Reid, he definitely does deserve credit. But in my opinion, I feel like Patrick Mahomes, he put Andy Reid over the top. Where prior to Andy Reid winning 2 championships, he was not considered to be a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame coach. He wasn't. Okay. Now he has Patrick Mahomes, he's won, and now they're trending upwards to being a dynasty. Now you have to put him in there. Okay. You have to. You got to put him up there as a top 10 head coach. Okay. And that's the same way it was like for Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson and Pat Riley, Tim Duncan. I mean, you got the same thing for everybody for the most part. Okay. Got the same thing for Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. Got the same thing for Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. Okay. So it's always going to be that one player who's going to take you over the top for whatever sport that it is. Okay. So that's my perspective on Andy Reid, the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, the Eagles, and the Chiefs, and where their teams are going to go in the future. And that's it on the podcast. Have a great rest of your weekend. And remember, let's not be inches, feet, meters, nor yards. Let's be miles ahead. Have a good one.